What's going on, everyone? So obviously the Los Angeles Lakers, they need a trade. They're working on trades, and more likely than not, I believe that a trade is coming. Just the consensus thought, keep getting the reports that like, hey, some move is going to happen. Rob's going to make another move. Is it the move that we desire? Is it the move that like takes us to the next level? I don't know. Time will tell, but I do think we will get another move. Just like I said, I am about 99% sure we were going to get at least a move. My concern originally was like if we got like a Jonas Valanciunas, right? I would have been I would have been a little worried, right? Like I would have been like, okay, so they got the center, and now Rob Pelinka can be like, oh well, hey, I made a move, I got the backup center. But the fact that they got a Dorian Finney-Smith, which was like the hardest piece to get, right? Where the guard position and the backup center position is much easier than, a starting level 3-and-D wing. So the fact that they got Dorian Finney-Smith signaled to me that like, hey, another trade is coming. If it would have been just like a Valanciunas or something, I would be a little more concerned, but I do expect something to come. However, Lakers at least have an idea and a vision of what direction they want to go and how do they want to approach it and what players it'll likely take to get there and what kind of holes you're going to need to fill. And the reason I'm even mentioning this is because the Lakers can now officially sign 10-day contracts. It's been a couple days, like, I don't know, less than a week ago now at this point. But basically all the teams could sign 10-day contracts. Lakers obviously are trying to evaluate guys. Jared Vanderbilt appears to be making progress to come back soon. Obviously, you just got Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton and, Gabe Vincent and all these guys, right? Like, teams starting to get healthy, teams starting to figure some stuff out here. However, I would like to maybe look at the 10-day contract as like an audition almost, in a way to kind of evaluate guys and see potentially if you can plug in some holes, particularly in the bench role. So for example, right, let's say the Lakers end up trading Gabe Vincent, right? Well, you may end up having a need for the backup guard position, particularly a point of attack guard, right? Shake Milton can, I think, operate that, but he's more of like a scoring kind of combo guard than like that lockdown defensive guy. He does have the tools. He's like 6'5", like a 7'1" wingspan. Like he has the tools, but he's never really been known for that, right? And so to me, it's like, do you bring in, say, a Dennis Smith Jr., right? And maybe kind of evaluate him and kind of get ahead of the game here a little bit, right? And let's say Dennis Smith Jr., it's like, he's not it for us. Okay, well then let's bring in a Markelle Fultz. Still not it. Okay, let's bring in an Elfrid Payton. Okay, that's the guy. That's it, right? Like, and you can kind of experiment and kind of use these 10 days, and you can, expand those 10 days. Obviously, the Lakers need to kind of figure out, their home schedule and stuff like that, but they have games essentially every other day. So you got a ton of games to kind of like ahead that you can kind of use the 10-day contract to kind of evaluate some guys and get ahead of the curve, right? I imagine the Lakers might do that once they pull some trades off, but it'd be nice to know, right? So, for example, like the Pelicans brought in Elfrid Payton, gave him some run, gave him some minutes, looked really good, right? They let him go for like financial reasons because they just realized like their season's over. I'd love to see the Lakers kind of do something similar where they just, you bring a guy in on a 10-day, kind of evaluate and see what he provides and see what he needs, right? Like teams aren't rushing to go get Dennis Smith, even if he's like great for the Lakers, right? The teams aren't going to be like, okay, let's go rush and go get Dennis Smith. Like these guys are still going to be there. Or like, Robert Covington, right? Another sizable forward veteran guy. Can you bring in a guy like that and kind of say, okay, like if we trade Rui for, a Bruce Brown, and then we trade Gabe Vincent for a Valanciunas, right? Just names, right? Boom, you got those two guys. Well, okay, you have Dorian Finney-Smith, you have Jared Vanderbilt. It'd be nice to kind of just have that veteran guy that you can trust that can slot in essentially 2 through 4, right? Like, go bring him in. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he's, right and ready. Let's see if he can kind of slot in and play. Right, there's a ton of names, which also let me know if maybe you want me to kind of like break down. Maybe I'll do like videos of like, like 3 to 5 guards, 3 to 5 forwards, 3 to 5 centers that I'd love to see the Lakers kind of experiment with on a potential 10-day. So let me know down in the comments kind of guys that you'd like to see and if that's a video that would potentially interest you. But anyway, like, to kind of get back to what I'm diving into here is that, like, to me, I'd rather be ahead of the game. Because like I said, the Lakers know, like, they have an idea. Obviously, things change. Obviously, you know, maybe you end up having to give a guy, or maybe you get a guy that you weren't expecting to get or whatever. But it doesn't hurt to, like, evaluate some of these guys and just see what can become, right? Like, for example, there's talks about, you know, the like a Bruce Brown trade, and you might be able to get Abaji in the deal, right? That would be great. That'd be cool. Okay, well then now you might not need a wing or anything like that. So you might stay away from like a Robert Covington or something, but you still might need a guard, right? Like that doesn't solve your guard position, right? So you might need to go get a Dorian. Like, start kind of piecing these guys together, right? Or like, what if you trade a Jackson Hayes? Like, let's say the Lakers trade for Nick Richards. They might need a center, so you might end up trading a Jackson Hayes in that deal to kind of give them a guy in case Mark Williams continues to not be able to stay healthy. Yeah, you have Christian Koloko, but why not take a look at some of these other centers that are on the market? Why not try to see, some of these other guys that could just be there just for the roster support? Because if you have an open roster spot, you're going to have to fill it at some point, right? So, and depending on what trades they do and who they end up picking up and acquiring, they could have as many as like 2 or 3, right? So why not kind of use this time and use the ability for 10 days to kind of evaluate and see? But also, like, if you have a guy in mind, like, let's say, like, I don't know, let's stick with Abaji, right? Let's say you really can get him, right? But you're going to have to give up assets to get that guy, right? So why not bring in, like I mentioned, a Robert Covington and see if he can kind of play that role for you? Unless you just are really high on him, because he is 24. Unless you're just really high on him, long term, you're like, man, that could be a piece that could really be valuable for our team now and the future, then sure, fine, go get him. But I'm saying, like, let's say it's just kind of like, you're looking for kind of like what they did with Shake Milton, that add-on, that guy that is still young and can still, be a piece for now and potentially the future, but you're kind of taking a chance on him, right? So instead of doing that route, maybe you look to bring in, like I said, a Robert Covington to come in. If he's great for you and he's doing and providing what you need, as far as like production wise goes, well then maybe now you're not giving up those assets for Abaji, right? Unless, again, I said, you just really value him and you really want him. But even then, you can't have too many 6'6", 6'7" guys, right? Like, so like if you have to fill a roster spot, just to kind of have that veteran presence, have that veteran leader, but also know, like, is he just washed, right? As he hasn't played all year, is he even able to get capable of coming in and playing a role, right? Like, just I like the idea of just staying ahead of the curve. Right? Because more likely than not, what's going to happen is that the Lakers are going to end up making some type of trade, making some type of move, and then they're going to do that, right? And then they're going to evaluate. But you already know what you're looking for. You already know what you want and what you need, and the players you're going to have to trade in order to get that, right? There's only so many options out there, right? And you only have so many players that are available to trade, especially for these contracts. So you're getting rid of Rui. You're getting rid of Gabe Vincent most likely. You're getting rid of some of these other, vet minimum guys and stuff. So why not start looking at some of these other guys that are out there that you could potentially bring in, plug in, and go, hey, like, okay, we know we're probably going to need even a third point guard, right? Let's bring in a Dennis Smith Jr. Let's bring in an Alfred Payton. Let's bring in a Markelle Fultz and just kind of evaluate here shortly and see, like, what can they do. Okay, well, if we're going to trade Rui, there's talks about them maybe even trading Vando, right? Okay, we're going to trade Rui, trade Vando, and go get an upgrade at the wing. Well, okay, we might need that kind of third, fourth wing, right? Like, okay, bring in a Robert Covington. Like I said, I'm just kind of going through names. If you want me to kind of break down guys and how they could potentially help, then yes, again, let me know down in the comments. I'm more than happy to do that. But I always look at it as like, you always want to be ahead of the curve rather than behind. Right? And it doesn't hurt to work guys out, and you can do what you need to do and kind of like give guys opportunities, give guys a look Right? You kind of know what you're looking for. You kind of know what you need. You know what direction you're trying to go with trades. You know who you're probably going to have to trade. You know what guys are probably most likely you're going to be able to get and which guys aren't. Right? Like if Rob Pelinka is really doing his due diligence, I'm not saying you don't stay relentless, because again, people change their mind, things change. There's all kinds of stuff. You know, a team all of a sudden goes, you know what, like, fine, you can have them type thing, right? Like, I mean, we saw it with the Jazz a couple years ago. They didn't want to give us Jared Vanderbilt, no Vando, no Vando, no Vando, and then you got to trade deadline and it was like, all right, fine, you can have Vando. Things change really quickly. But you still have, my point is, Rob should at least have an idea of kind of where they're going to go. Why not stay a step ahead? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea? Do you hate the idea? Do you think, like, yes, go get a couple guys on 10 days and let's try to start evaluating, starting to see guys here? Do you think, no, stay away from the 10-day contracts, just stay the course, worry about the 10 days after trades, whatever. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me out, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.